fourth Sunday. Amen.
Amen.
Let's go. I'll do that justice. Amen.
Yes.
Zechariah 13:6.
Yes, sir.
And one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thy hands? Then he shall answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. I want to talk about, for just a minute, and I do mean briefly, with friends like these, who needs enemies?
Right on time.
Webster says
Pastor reading a lot of people.
that an enemy is one who attacks or tries to hurt.
Amen. All right, preacher.
And if one considers that definition, if you are like most people, all of us in here would tend to say we have some enemies.
Amen. Amen.
In fact, if I can just be clear, there is an abundance of enemies on the market.
All right now.
And if you're running a little short, I believe that there's some folk in here who will loan you some of that.
All right, preacher.
Enemies are often visible.
Yes, Lord.
They don't mind you knowing who they are.
All right.
During military campaigns, enemies identify themselves by their colors. During the American Revolution, it was said the British soldiers to be identified because they wore red coats. In the Civil War, the North wore blue coats, and the South wore gray coats. Enemies were easily identified. We experience difficulty, however, distinguishing our enemies from our friends. During World War II, America was at war with Japan. In the continental United States, all persons who had slanted eyes or hailed from Japanese racial origins were placed in concentration camps because of their national origin. You do remember babies. Hello, somebody. In cages.
Yes, sir.
All right. We had problems identifying the enemy. Can enemies be identified by what they wear, by their national origin or their race? I would say certainly not. It's possible for people to wear the same uniform and still be the enemy.
All right.
It's possible for people to be of the same race or nationality and still be the enemy. All of our domestic terrorism has not come from someone of a foreign, y'all not here, but they were born, bred, and raised right here.
Yes, sir.
It is possible for people to be of the same race or nationality and still be the enemy. And so how can we identify enemies personally? How can we identify as Christians enemies to the cross? I would suggest Matthew 12:30 answers the question by stating the principle that all of those who are not with me are against me. Those who won't help me gather the flock is someone who desires the flock to be scattered. In other words, if you are not for me, you are against me. And it's painful when our friends betray our confidences with our enemies. I wonder today, personally, have you had that experience? Has a friend betrayed your confidence? If so, then you probably agree with our premise today. With friends like these, who needs enemies?
All right, Pastor.
Since we have personally been in this situation, then we can perhaps better understand Zechariah when he projects over into the future about the coming of Christ.
All right.
Zechariah in his prophecy sees Christ standing, and a question is asked of him.
Okay.
That question being, where did you get these wounds?
All right.
Christ answers that these wounds were received while he was in the company of his friends.
All right.
This prophecy, brothers and sisters, looks beyond Christ's life on earth and sees him looking back after his death and resurrection and reflecting upon his experience with people that he befriended by giving of his substance and his life. Jesus says, these wounds, those in his hands and feet, the spear in his side, and moreover, countless others came from his friends. He referred to them as his friends because he befriended them even though they had refused him.
All right.
With friends like those, who needs enemies? Job is known historically for having 3 friends who sat with him daily. They accused him of doing something wrong. These friends who knew him to be a righteous man depressed him daily with their daily dissertation on sinfulness. They concluded that his wrongs had caused God to abandon him, and they suggested that he was now forsaken by God and in a miserable state. Again, I ask you, with friends like these, who needs enemies?
All right.
And then to make it even worse, Job's wife suggested that he curse God and die. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Proverbs 19:4 states a principle that is true. When you have money, you have many friends. But when you are poor, read verse number 6, your friends run away. Friends who are with you only when you can give them something and then desert you when you are in need and need help are not very helpful. In fact, with friends like those, who needs enemies? I like the way that Dr. Edward C. Banfield has written in his work entitled The Moral Basis of a Backward Society. He describes an attitude that exists among people who have relations that are not based on the principle of God's love. He submits the idea that my enemy's enemy is my friend.
All right.
Simply put, it means that if my enemy dislikes you, then you're all right with me. If my enemy thinks you are no good, then you're my friend. Conversely, Banfield's premise suggests that my friend becomes my enemy when he is friendly to my enemy, or my enemy's friend is my enemy.
All right.
Perhaps that might explain why some people seem to dislike you. Y'all not here. When you're treating you as an enemy when you've done nothing to them personally.
Right.
Many instances, it's because you befriended someone whom they consider to be an enemy. In some cases, you've associated with people they consider enemies, and now they consider you an enemy by association.
All right.
Strange as it may seem, sometimes enemies become friends when they suspect that they have a common enemy between them. You wonder, amen, why so-and-so has been calling you lately when she hadn't been calling you before.
All right.
Soon you learn that she doesn't like Maxine, and she's learned through grapevine that you don't like Maxine either. So she feels that you and she now have something in common. That's a dislike for a common enemy.
All right.
Luke 23:12 gives an account of 2 people who were virtual enemies who became friends when one suspected that they both had a common enemy. Pilate and Herod were enemies. Pilate, the Roman procurator of the enemy of the Jewish people. Herod, the figurehead king of Israel, was always at odds with Rome for their domination of his people. But when Herod suspected that they shared a common dislike for Jesus, Luke 23:12 says they became friends. Sometimes people who have been virtual enemies will gang up on you. Amen. Although you've done absolutely nothing to any of them.
All right.
Maybe that's why Jesus saw fit to remind us that blessed are ye when men persecute you and despitefully use you for my name's sake. All right. But I ask again, with friends like these, who needs enemies?
All right.
Scripture teaches that Christ was wounded by our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities. Certainly he died on the cross and rose from the dead that our just chastisement would be upon him. He was wounded for us because he loved us. He was wounded for us because he wanted to save us. He showed himself friendly by sticking closer than a brother's, but just as Christ was wounded for us, he was also wounded by us.
That's right.
We wound Christ first by our apathy. Y'all not hearing me? Christ maintains that it is not enough simply not to be against his cause, but he even suggests that those who will not work for his cause are enemies as well.
All right.
So I ask, are you among the friends of our Lord who wound him daily with sustained apathy? Do you have a talent that you could use to help gather the flock, but you choose not to use it? Do you have a special gift of the Spirit that God has given you, but you keep it to yourself for varied reasons? Christ has shown himself friendly to you, and yet you respond with mutual friendship by saying to him, y'all not hearing me? That's why I was so moved when we sang that hymn this morning, and y'all sung it like you meant it. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. We wound Christ secondly by living adverse to his word. James 4:4 reminds us that a person who is a friend of the world is an enemy to God.
All right.
We who profess to be friends with Christ wound him each time we betray his sacrifice on Calvary by living contrary to his love. I'm going to be preaching this Tuesday to the Baptist Pastors Council, and I'm going to talk about this lack of gospel in our society.
All right.
Y'all not hearing me?
All right.
Yeah. We wound him each time we betray his sacrifice on Calvary. Do you wound him by some element of your living that's an embarrassment to the cross? Do you return his friendship by holding to his unchanging hand?
All right.
And if you refuse to work for him, and if you live contrary to his word, then you are miserable friends of the cross. In fact, we're friends like those who needs enemies.
All right.
There's no doubt that he has been a friend to us, but what of our commitment to him? One songwriter said, I'm satisfied with Jesus. But the question comes to me as I look at Calvary, is my master satisfied with me? Jonathan and David had a close friendship. They loved each other like brothers. Jonathan loved David so much that he risked his life to save him from the wrath of King Saul. It was a great love. Abraham had a great love for God. He loved God even more than he did the life of his only son Isaac, and was willing to sacrifice him if necessary to obey the will of God. That was a great love. Y'all not hearing me? But John 15:13 through 15 reminds us that the greatest love that a man can display is when he is willing to lay down his life for his friends. No wonder the songwriter wrote, oh, how I love Jesus, because he first loved me. No wonder he said, what a friend we have in Jesus. Because when we are sick, he becomes our balm in Gilead. What a friend we have in Jesus. Because when we are lonely, he is an ever-present comfort. He is a friend who turns failure to success. A friend who turns death to life. A friend who took up the cross one day he rose